Welcome to Wild and Weird Radio, a Wild and Weird West Virginia podcast. Welcome back to Wild and Weird Radio, and holy cow, if you missed Mothman Festival,
shame on you.
You missed what is going to go down in history as the largest attended paranormal convention, festival, whatever you want to call it, in history.
Up to 2022, right?
Yep.
I mean, it's going to be hard to beat, that's for sure.
It's going to be really, really hard to beat the attendance. I'm hearing estimates from 40,000, 35,000, 30,000, all over the place.
Yeah, it's still up in the air at this, and I don't know that we'll ever get an actual number, but I can tell you
think we'll ever have an actual number.
It was monstrous.
But you got to think 32,000 vehicles. How many of those vehicles? One, you're going to have some pass through, but the majority of those vehicles had more than one individual in the car.
Yeah. It's madness. Whatever that was complete insanity, and it was amazing, and it was great.
And on top of it,
be a part of it.
We weren't just a part of it. We were presenters at this record-setting, mind-blowing festival.
Please welcome Joe Perdue and Ron Lanham to the Mothman Festival.
It was an experience. It was an absolute experience. For those who weren't there, this was obviously, as we're saying, the largest gathering at the Mothman Festival in history. And there were so many positive, I think is what I want to say. There was just so many positive interactions with people. Everybody was in a great mood. It was like, we've been wanting to do this for 2 years, and boom, now we can do it. And boy, did they do it. They did it in massive numbers. Main Street was so crowded at one point that literally you couldn't get probably 20 feet from our booth. I do know that people stood in front of our booth and we couldn't see those people. I think Seth even mentioned that he had came by and waved at us and tried to get our attention by kind of jumping up and down in the street almost. I couldn't see the dude. At one point, there was about 5 feet of people in front of our booth, and that was just amazing. I don't know.
And that was all the way around our booth. That was all 3 open sides of the booth.
Yeah.
Was just an ocean of people, and it was amazing. And then the folks that came and sat in on our talk, it was standing room only at the talk.
And they were still coming in if you saw that.
There were people that were trying to come in. They were trying to come in. They turn around and leave because there was nowhere to stand.
Yeah. And that was really good. That was a good turnout there. We met so many awesome people. We got, we didn't get very many photos, man. And
we didn't have time.
And if it wouldn't have been for Patrick, we would have really probably we'd have been in trouble. We would have been in trouble. So Patrick Bailey, you are an honorary member of Wild and Weird from this point on. I think you always have been an honorary member of RTDS LLC anyway. So.
He's our unofficial employee.
He really is. He kind of comes around every now and again and helps sell some things for us and make sure things don't walk. And if there was ever a place where things could walk, it would have been this one.
Absolutely.
But we did such a great job. And everybody was just so good. You didn't really have to even worry about that where we were at.
You didn't. It was really, really nice. and being able to work with everybody and talk with people as they came through. I didn't get to do much talking the first day. I know you and Patrick were trying to work the crowd as much as you could, and I was processing payments for everybody.
Man, what an experience. The only thing that really negative experience that I have is the terrible earworm that the Hodag Store put into my head. Thank you guys. Love you so much.
All right, guys, we are again. We've got more guests for you here from the Mothman Festival. We have Ben Burnell of the Hodag Store.
Hodag Store.
And Hodag Festival, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna let him tell you guys just a little bit about himself.
Okay. Well, like you said, my name is Ben Burnell, owner operator of the Hodag Store. I hail from the motherland of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, way up north in Wisconsin, home of the Hodag. I'm here at the Mothman Festival today, spreading Hodag awareness as a Hodag ambassador. And I am just having a great day here today. I think we gave out about 1,000 plus Hodag rides on the beast over there today.
Sweet.
If you're not familiar with the Hodag is an old lumberjack folklore cryptid tale, dates back to 1893. Revolves around a man, Eugene Simeon Shepard, a timber cruiser, land surveyor, map maker, world-class prankster. And he discovered this beast, brought it back to town, did like a freak show, sideshow act out of it, the beast, and you could say it went viral back in the day, from the newspapers to California to New York, and people in fact hopped on a steam locomotive train engine, and they traveled 2-3 weeks, because, well, trains were slow back then, to Rhinelander to come see this creature, and they would leave believing it was a real thing. And Gene fooled tens and thousands of people into believing this was a real thing. He fooled P.T. Barnum to bring his traveling circus to Rhinelander in search of a Hodag. Needless to say, they left empty-handed. Later on, the Smithsonian Institution wanted to do a scientific documentation of the Hodag. And at that moment...
Wait a second.
Okay.
The Smithsonian Institution actually wanted to come in.
Did
they want to hide it in the basement?
They wanted to survey the Hodag. They wanted to document it, measure it, scale it, put it in the dictionary, And it has gone too far, and there was too much pressure. And at that time, he admitted it was a hoax. But before it was admitted that it was a hoax, the school adopted it as the mascot, and the teens, while Gene was still alive, even. So the Hodag legend and lore dates back deep in the heritage and history that we have here in Rhinelander. Hence why we started the new Hodag Heritage Festival, happening May 20th here at Pioneer Park in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. We do vendors there, guest speakers. We do a Hodag reenactment, kind of sideshow style skit with the beast, and we just have a good time.
I saw a Hodag.
No, stop! Don't you even.
And the Hodag saw a man.
Don't do that.
I can't get it out of my head, man.
Don't do that. I know. I
heard it in my sleep.
I heard it in my sleep. I am not kidding you.
Yeah.
I heard it in my sleep. You know how when you're like sitting around, you kind of hear white noise, and you kind of think you hear, some music in it from time to time. I'm not sure. It may be just mild schizophrenia, but either way, I'm pretty sure that it was real, and I heard the Hodag song being played on the air.
What was really weird was, the tequila thing?
Oh, yeah, tequila.
Apparently there was actually like something there in the end that was Hodag related, but we couldn't hear it where we were. So, I mean, it just sounded like the regular da, 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 da,
Yeah.
And so we missed that bit, but like, I know at the most quiet and like peaceful moments that I could, when that song would come on, I would blare out tequila, and like people in the crowd would jump. It was the highlight of my Saturday.
And the sheer exhaustion would set in eventually, and that was. So we talked to a lot of people.
So what did you think?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We've lived down here forever, and we've wanted to come. We just haven't had the opportunity to, because of either work obligations or something else. And of course, the last couple of years with with COVID and stuff.
And we actually got some folks coming up right now who were there at the talk. How are you guys?
They were at the talk.
Absolutely. I've been to Bigfoot talks before.
Cool.
So that was actually really informative. I wasn't sure what the topic was until we got in there. So.
Right on.
Well,
a Hodag story, I'll tell you. Since we're on
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Do you want to tell it?
Yeah. But I used to volunteer at a horse farm, Serendipity Stables in York Center, Ohio. And an older woman, about 75, had a camera. And she's taking pictures of these orbs, and you can see them moving. And we blew one up, and it had little wings and little feet. So I'm going to email it to you guys. It was a fairy. I will send it to you. Yes. But it was a real life fairy angel thing over a horse. Yeah.
Like I said, and just so many. I did get a few names of people. We got a new sub right off the bat, and that was Josh, who was our new sub. He got a free sticker because he subbed to us right there on the spot. Thank you guys so much. It was the first time that we actually had people actually use the QR code on the table to sub.
Like actively use it.
And we've had it there a lot of times, but you guys really did it.
For over a year?
Yeah, for over a year. And you guys did it, and it was awesome. And we picked up so many new subs on the YouTube channel, and that was fantastic. One of the highlights of the show for me was Luke, who came around with the Moldavite skulls.
Yeah, those were cool.
Wow, that was fantastic. That was an amazing experience. We had several of the cosplayers out there.
My personal favorite.
Oh yeah.
This. She is a D&D dungeon master's best friend. And that's what this book is. I'm going to show you a couple of the pictures out of here because they're priceless. Bigfoot. You can expect this of all the imagery. So guys, if you're listening on podcast, you need to jump over and check out the YouTube.
It's good. It's good stuff. Yeah.
And you can't not show Mothman there.
Oh yeah, Moth Mama. You mean
Moth Mama?
Yeah. And yeah, that's just a great image.
But Lore, thank you for these, and we can't wait to see what we can do in the future working with you on some stuff. We're excited about that. So if you guys are looking for this book, we're going to put a link in the description. So any of you table toppers who are wanting some new, fun, and interesting content that you can add into your game mix, you're definitely going to click that link.
Yeah, for sure. I want to give a quick shout out to Hutter. She was one of the moth girls who was running around there. These people had the most amazing outfits, guys. Their wings, you could tell they put some time in some of these outfits. It was just amazing. And I want to give a special thanks to Teresa of Teresa's Haunted History of the Tri-State, because without her, I would be dead.
Yeah, she saved you and Patrick on a close one there. You guys were starving. She came in clutch with the McDonald's run for you guys. And unfortunately, I can't eat McDonald's. But she came in and grabbed you guys some food. And it was that was a huge blessing in disguise, because we were starving. The food lines were incredibly long. We couldn't get into we didn't have time to go sit for 2 hours in a line to go get food, and Teresa actually ran and got us something to eat.
Well, we had to speak at 4:00, and at 3:30 she brought the food, if that tells you anything. And the energy level was gone because we didn't eat that morning.
Yeah, then I went, and thankfully on the way to the speaking room, I bought a chocolate covered pretzel and 2 cookies from an antique store that's right there along the main drag there in Point Pleasant. It's not the big antique store that's down there by the museum. It's one a couple blocks down, and it's one of the ones that you got to walk up the steps to get to. And they had cookies and pretzel rods, chocolate covered pretzel rods, and all that stuff they were out there selling. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy 2 cookies and a pretzel rod, and I scarfed those down on my way to the speaking engagement.
And that got you through. I mean,
it did.
It got you through. It gave you the energy you needed to do your classic announcement. Although I will say, Steve did a wonderful,
Yes.
a great introduction for us. Probably the best introduction that I think I've ever had at one of these things.
It's really the only proper introduction we.
It was a proper introduction.
Yeah.
It really was. Yes.
Instead of just like, hey, here's these guys.
Yeah, it was really good. That went along very well. Actually, the presentation went very well. It touched on a lot of things, and we got crowd interaction. Real crowd interaction. In fact, they were actually interrupting us and asking questions, which we don't mind, by the way.
No, that's normally something that we actually do during our speaking engagements, but I didn't mention it. But I'm starting to think that some of those folks had been in on our talks before, because especially the one lady that just jumped right in. Like she almost just knew that she could go ahead and ask a question and stop us. So I'm wondering if she was at Withville at the last talk we did,
right?
Or at Beckley, one of the two.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't know if you noticed while we were out there waiting to get in, because Ken was on before us.
Yeah.
Ken Gerhardt was on before us, and he was talking about some cryptids.
Flying humanoids.
Flying humanoids.
Yeah, flying humanoids.
That's what it was. Yes. And boy, was he going over some good stuff. From what I could see through the door. I mean, couldn't hear it, obviously. But there was a line that actually formed while we were standing there for us.
Yeah, and like
that was the most surreal thing that I have ever.
Looking over your shoulder because you had your back to the line talking with Steve and Brian.
Yeah.
And I kept looking over your shoulder, and I was like, oh my gosh, these people are actually lining up to come hear us.
Yeah. I got a couple of images of that, a couple pics of that I'll throw in here. But it was pretty amazing. I mean, and then you and Steve having your John Keel argument was the highlight of my day.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome.
And then what made it even better was the next day he wore a shirt just for me.
Yeah, that shirt was absolutely targeted right at you, and it was.
And he didn't say anything. He waited for me. He waited for me to look down and notice his shirt, and it was like Keel is king or Keel rules or something like that, or John Keel rocks.
It was John Keel was right, I believe. Or
okay.
To that. Or yeah. I got a picture of it. I don't remember. I have to dig it out and put it up.
I should have stood with him and got a picture with him. That was just so great.
Oh, I did. I totally did. And I even did it with the alien mask on. And yes, I did wear an alien mask. I told you guys Sunday morning. I said, if you want to have your picture taken with the alien, come down to the booth. And a few of you actually did it. And boy, were you in for a treat?
It was a blast.
It was a
blast. Sunday was way more relaxed as usual. Sunday was like a normal Mothman Sunday.
Yeah.
And we actually got to talk and hang out with people and go walk around a couple times, and
it was still pretty full on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like really nice. Really nice.
It was.
But the show was fantastic. We got to talk to some people. We got to talk to Ken a little bit and actually have a real conversation. And I actually made sure that I went up to him and thanked him for the actual discourse. And, to hear him say the same thing, it's okay to disagree and still be friends. That's how it works. You don't have to.
That's right, guys.
You don't have to. Oh, well, you think Bigfoot's an ape and I think it's something else and we can't talk. That's not how it works. That's
right.
Just not it. And we can learn from each other.
And then Ken and I actually we had about a 10-minute conversation just about bear prints. And that went really well, because where he lives, there's not a whole lot of bear activity. And what a lot of people will see and instantly recognize as a bear track is usually a grizzly bear. If you see a black bear track, you're not, unless it's in a perfect substrate for capturing footprints, you're not going to get the claw contact. You're only going to see the foot pad, and you'll see little dots. That's it. You won't see full claws. You'll just get the dots.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about that, and how a lot of skeptics will try to say that all Bigfoot tracks are bear, They're just double steps. But you're going to get claw marks. You're going to get claw marks, or you're going to get the little pinholes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's fun.
you know, I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, everybody gets to, you know, share data.
Yeah.
And learn from each other, and that was the great part about that.
And I know that he and Lyle and Nick Redfern, they all had a blast.
No, that's great. That's great.
They did have a good time. So it was good hanging out, good being able to share the stage with those guys and work with them, and also working with Anthony and Dina. We're actually going to be having them on the show. We've been planning on having them on for quite some time. They're like adopted spiritual family for Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Mm-hmm.
And, so we're going to have them on, and we can't wait to talk to them. They've been good friends for several years, and they've just done some great research.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the great things about. I think that's one of the great things about the Mothman Festival.
Yeah.
You can go and you can vend, or you can go and you can meet all these people.
Yep.
If you keep going long enough, though, these people become a little more than just vendors. They become familiars, and you know, you're going back to the festival just to see so and so. You know,
Yeah,
that's
it's like family reunion.
it really is. It's like a gigantic cryptid family reunion.
And we used to talk about that and joke about that with the reptile world. You know, we would go do these big shows up in Chicago that, you know, it's like a big family reunion where we got to hang out with our friends that we only really get to see once or twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Mothman and Ohio Bigfoot and Wild and Weird Con has become for us.
Yeah.
It's become our own little weird family reunions where, yeah, we have a ton of general public that we run into and meet and all that stuff, but it's that close group of friends that we talk online all the time, and we very seldom actually get to meet and hang out. But these events provide a medium for us to come together and eat and laugh and play jokes and hang out with one another. Well, guys, I guess the moral of the story is next year you need to come out. If you're listening to Wild and Weird Radio, and you can't come to Wild and Weird Con, but you can come to one event. If you can only pick one big shindig out of the year to come and hang out, make it the Mothman Festival.
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, my goodness, he did it, didn't he?
He did. It's a phenomenal festival. You can't beat it. It's the biggest one out there, guys. Biggest one in the world, hands down.
No doubt, no doubt. It's like I said at the beginning of the show, it'll be hard to top.
Yeah,
it'll be very hard to top. What else do we have going on, Joe?
Well, coming up next week, if you're in the West Virginia area, on the 28th of September, I'm going to be doing a Bigfoot talk in St. Albans at one of their little historic meeting areas. Is a paranormal discussion group in St. Albans.
Mm-hmm.
They meet in one of the old historic buildings there in St. Albans, West Virginia. You can just go look at our Facebook page. You'll see that link posted up there. All right, so October 1st, Ron and I are going to be set up at Mysticon. It's going to be in Ravenswood, West Virginia, at the Ravenswood Public Library. You definitely want to come check that out. We're going to be making a presentation as well as setting up vending. You guys will definitely want to check it out. I believe it goes from 10 till 5, and then they're showing, I think they're showing a movie afterwards. So hang out, check out the movie, come out to Ravenswood. It's going to be a good time. Then after Ravenswood, we are going to be at Sherman Elementary for the West Virginia Day. That is going to be on October the 12th or 13th. And that's just a great time. If you're in driving range to Boone County, West Virginia, there's vendors that come out there and set up their local vendors, come out and support the local artists that are making stuff. There's some good food because there's food trucks that'll show up and sell food there. And then we're going to be there, of course, doing a meet and greet and hanging out with people and talking to them and taking encounters and all that, just like we did last year. Then right after that, just a couple days, October the 14th and 15th, we have Wild and Weird Con. and it's going to be game time, guys. We're almost sold out of spots for the VIP event. You definitely want to go ahead and apply for that if that's something you want to do. We are running really low on those, so you definitely want to go ahead and jump on that quick before we run out, because once they are sold out, they are sold out. But you can always make it in Saturday for the general admission, and it's going to be $10 at the door. You can come in. You get to do the meet and greets, the workshops, the speakers, the vendors, all for $10. You're not going to go to.
Can you go over those workshops? I mean, that's you're not get that at any other place.
You don't get these workshops anywhere else. Like I don't know of any other festival with something that we started years ago outside of Wild and Weird Con, but because it was something that we already do, we went ahead and said, hey, let's go ahead and include some workshops while there's speakers going on, so in case the room gets full. Or if it's just, somebody's doing a talk on UFOs and you're just not into UFOs, we'll have a Bigfoot workshop going at the same time, or a paranormal ghost workshop going on. Now we can go and attend it. So with these workshops, we're doing a paranormal investigation equipment workshop. That's going to be hosted by Ron and Dave. And we're going to be having 2 different Bigfoot workshops. One is going to be plaster casting. The other is going to be general field research. And maybe, just maybe, the more technique. It's going to be interesting. And that's going to be done by Glenn Adkins from the Ohio Squatch Project. And that's something that you're going to want to definitely check out. It's going to be a really interesting workshop there. Then we will be having, for the VIP event, it's going to be a full-blown nighttime investigation workshop with Jessi and Joe from Hellbent Holler. Then it's going to be wrapped up with a campfire dinner cooked by yours truly, and it will be something you do not want to miss. The food last year was great. Everybody loved it. Everybody loved the walkthrough that they did last year, and this year Jessi and Joe are heading it up for us, and they're going to knock it out of the park. They've already showed us the game plan and what they're ready to do. I cannot wait to hear about how awesome it is from you guys who are attending.
But you now that's the Friday night event, is what you were just
That's
saying.
the Friday night event. Now the workshops, the other workshops and everything, that's taking place Saturday during the day, during regular showtime.
Yeah.
And those are completely free with general admission. Same thing with our speakers. They're free with general admission, and the meet and greets are free with general admission. You can go up and hang out and speak with our speakers and ask them questions, report your sightings, and share data with them.
Right.
So it's all included with your fee at the door.
Yeah, and it's not a free event. It can't be a free event because it's a very, if you've never been there,
it's very expensive to put on.
It is a very beautiful place, and we've got rooms there. It's just amazing. You can come, you can hang out for a day, or you can come in on Friday. I don't know if there's any rooms left at this point. You'd have to call the
you'd have to call the
lodge out. We don't know. But it's a one-stop kind of thing, right, Joe? That's what I'm getting at.
Yep.
It's like
you've
could
got a
actually
restaurant
stay there
inside. You've got the lodge. You've got the conference center. It's all in one place.
You even got a spa in there, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think so. I think Jess mentioned that. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really cool place, and we would love to see you guys come down. After that, we really don't have any more cryptid events, do we? Except for one, and I believe that might be CryptidCon.
That is CryptidCon. It's in November. You want to come hang out at that one too, guys. CryptidCon's always a blast. It is going to be a good time. Cliff Barrickman is going to be speaking there. They just announced him today. The Mountain Monsters gang is all going to be out there in force. Then you're going to be having Maria Mayor is going to be there from the Expedition Bigfoot. She's the primatologist. She's going to be speaking. There's going to be a few other speakers there. It's going to be an absolute blast. You don't want to miss that one either.
It's always a good show. It's great. Another one of those good ones where you get to meet a lot of
people.
Yeah,
Leigh and the team there, they put on a fantastic show.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be a really good one this year, I think. Can't wait to get out there, which means that we have very little time to make a lot of product because you know what happened.
Yep. We got to get busy in the shop.
Yeah. Blew my mind that you guys actually, you know, actually came to our table specifically. I heard this several times. You guys have the best stuff. Now, I'm not going to say that as, some kind of ego trip or, oh, our stuff's better. No, I've saw some incredible stuff from
Absolutely.
other artists. Everybody there had great stuff. This is their opinion, not mine. I know who I thought had great stuff, and there were several places that I really thought had great stuff.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking
Right.
about other vendors.
But that was something that I heard from a lot of people
did
that
hear
walk
it.
around and then come back and be like, you guys just have like the best stuff. It's really good quality.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. We have the means to make literally anything,
We do.
and it just comes down to time and money, and if
Just
what it's
just
all
to show
about.
you guys, another one. This is just for you guys out there in YouTube land. If you're listening, jump on the podcast. None of the stuff that we make, there's only, I take that back, not none. There's a small handful, like 3 or 4 items that are made that I personally did not make the molds for.
Yeah.
These molds right here, this is what our mini Mothman come out of. And we make these here in the shop.
Anything that's custom sculpted, you're making the mold for it.
Yeah.
That's
we own the molds. We make the stuff here. It's all made in house and it's made professionally. It's made in a way that, like there's another mold. I'm swimming in molds, guys. Literally, I've got a whole shelf. That whole shelf right here that you can just see the back end of it. That is my mold library, and it is literally edge to edge covered in molds.
Yeah. And
So
the more stuff we make, the more you get in there.
yeah,
But it's a big job. It's a big amount of work, but we really like doing it, or we wouldn't do it, obviously.
it's a full operation that you normally have like something to the level of what we're doing is normally something that you have a team working on, and it's literally just me and you.
Yeah, it is.
it's
It
just
is.
us.
Yeah, it's just like the whole, garage outfits,
Yeah.
how these businesses get started in the garage and whatnot. It's just, this is our basement and kitchen
Yep.
table kind of thing. Another great thing that happened, Joe, people who got to come out, they got to see the Wild and Weird Radio.
They did the new
real one.
the real Wild and Weird Radio that you see there floating behind Ron's head. You guys got to see the real one in person, and it's still developing, still growing. There's still a little bit of work we've got to do to wrap it up and finish it, but you saw it. We had our microphone hooked up to it. We were running the podcast off of it. So definitely.
It's definitely going to be something. And so many people who came up and, were actually... Okay, it's great to hear you guys who actually listen to the program. I love that. It makes me happy. But when one comes up and tells you how many episodes you have, that's a little...
Yeah, because we don't keep track of how many episodes we have. And somebody was asking, well, how many episodes you got? We're over 100. We're a good bit over 100. And then somebody, like 3 people back in the crowd, it's 114 to be exact. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Who's this?
Yeah. That was...
I mean,
that was
thank
really
you.
good. That was really funny. But it was great to see you guys come out, and it's awesome to have all the new subs, like I said. And if you want to see it, always make sure that you are on our YouTube channel. And that YouTube channel includes not just Wild and Weird Radio, but that's Wild and Weird West Virginia all together. And
you get to see our outings,
all of it.
All of it. Our research, any kind of just goofy stuff that we do, you'll be able to get notified by hitting that notification bell and subscribing to the channel. I mean, we're starting to really grow the YouTube channel. It's doing really well. It's doing it organically. We're really proud of you guys and thankful for you guys for joining us along the way. And then all of you guys who listen to us on audio, again, thank you guys for tuning in, week out, listening to us on the job, listening to us on your morning commutes. And hopefully you guys really enjoy it, and we'll keep on tuning in as long as we're still throwing out episodes, which will not be stopping anytime soon, because we're going to do this until like the end of time.
Possibly.
We've said it multiple times.
Possibly. But yeah, guys, get over there and subscribe and make sure you share that with your friends because man, every little bit helps.
It does. It does.
And
Speaking of
and
sharing it with your friends, we're still going to do the stats rundown here. And I'm curious just to see who over
yeah,
the weekend,
let's see what happened over the weekend. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
which city jumped to the all-time leaderboard here. All right, not much has changed internationally in the top 3.
So who's number 1 in international?
Who's number 1 international
Yeah.
that's not like in the big 3?
Yeah, just number 1. Who is their number 1?
No, number 1's going to be Australia because you're
Still
you know,
Australia.
still
Yeah,
Australia.
still
Australia and Oceania.
Gotcha.
So New Zealand, you guys are right there behind them with Germany following tight behind that. All righty. Man,
How about the
Pittsburgh,
homeland?
Pittsburgh, PA is still reigning supreme
Oh.
at number 1, but you've got Philadelphia creeping in right behind you. Philly is coming up behind Pittsburgh with a knife in its teeth and is going to take that number 1 spot.
Not
And
much change there,
this
huh?
is mildly concerning. Maybe we shouldn't have done the Men in Black episode.
Uh-oh.
Number 3 in our national for the first time ever. You guys, I don't know if I'm proud of this or not. This is the biggest upset because you guys took Seattle, Washington out of number 3. And you weren't even on the charts at all. Period. Washington, D.C. is number 3 with 1% total downloads of everything.
Washington, say. That's concerning.
That's odd.
Well, end of time might come a lot sooner than what you think.
For us. So, if we get disappeared, you know what happened, guys.
Yeah, you know what happened.
It's so weird. DC wasn't even on the radar. And now they got 1% of our downloads, like total downloads. We're talking that goes into count with like international downloads.
Yeah,
DC has
that's
1%.
Crazy. That is literally
so whoever started listening, the groups that started listening there, they listened to a lot.
Yeah, that almost makes me wonder how much they listen to. How about you?
Right. That might be the whole catalog. We're pretty close to it.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah,
I am totally impressed with that. That's a lot of people, dude.
That is a lot because especially for not being on the radar at all.
And just to show up, right?
Just to show up in the top 3.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So, I'm telling you, I don't know. I can tell you this though, as far as it goes. Yeah, there you go. Right. I can tell you this though. On the YouTube side of things, we have the top for this past 48 hours. Just the 48 hours. Bigfoot, Cherokee, Little People.
Oh, the new episode.
The new episode. That's correct. Followed by our old buddy Stan, talking with the creepy cryptid talk, and then our last episode, could Mothman and some paranormal phenomena be extra dimensional, etc. So yeah, these are turning out to be pretty good, but it looks like Stan is. If I look at the ratings right, Stan has got the number 1 spot, followed by Men in Black. So, yeah, probably what you said about DC there. I would. That's even more concerning now.
That's
Joe,
like a new achievement. There should have been like one of those in-game achievement things that just popped up.
I think we might have got
a little black fedora hat.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking, buddy. It's that's interesting. Well, if we're here next week, that'll be a great thing.
Never know. We might be getting recruited to go into the UAP research project.
And you know what? If we just disappear, just assume that's where we're at, because we'll never be able to tell you one way or the other, will we? So, man. That was great, man. Joe, take us home. I think we're good. I'm going to wrap up some stuff with some photos from the show as we go out in our blaze of glory.
All right, guys. Remember, as always, that you can find me at Skinwalker Sculpts on Instagram, Skinwalker13 on TikTok. Ron is the Mothman artist on TikTok, and Lanham Ron on Instagram. Then, of course, you have to go over to YouTube and subscribe to Hellbent Holler. That's Jessi's channel, and those shows are just great. I love them. It's part of my weekly listening lineup now for sure. Her and Joe do an absolute amazing job. I love their set. Like, their set's just gorgeous. And then, of course, it's Hellbent Jessi on Instagram. Now, if you're listening on any kind of podcast aggregator that lets you give a star or review, please go ahead and leave those stars and reviews. We want to get as many of those as possible because it helps us stand out in the leaderboards and gets us moved up higher in the list, so that way we show up on other podcasts, or on other podcast searches rather. Then, if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell and you subscribe to our channel. That way, every time there is new content that is released, it comes screaming to your phone in an alert that says, those crazy guys from Wild and Weird got abducted by the Men in Black, and you definitely want to go watch this next episode.
Probably because it's live. They dread away.
And lastly, but certainly not least, remember to come out to Wild and Weird Con on October 15th. It is going to be an absolute blast. It's at Chief Logan Lodge in Logan, West Virginia. You do not want to miss it. There are only a few seats left for the VIP event. General admission is still wide open, guys. And remember, if you can only do one thing next year, make it either going to the Mothman Festival or being abducted by the Men in Black. I mean,
well,
those
both will be pretty fun, right?
I mean, I would think. Stay wild and weird, everybody.